Okay, Audra, they're all starting to jump in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chamber University online training. We're going to give our attendees a few more minutes to jump online. And I did want to say thank you for joining us today. Chamber University online training is designed to provide education and training on specific topics such as healthcare, technology, marketing, human resources, and education for employees and employers. So today we will be recording this session, and you're able to use your chat box to communicate with our presenter and myself. I will be regulating that for her today. And then we'll have Q&A after the presentation. And feel free to use the chat box during the presentation. We both have access to that. And you will receive a recording after this has been completed, and also contact information for our presenter. So with that being said, today we are featuring Audra Zinn of Holistic Health on Demand. She is with ReLife Holistic Services, and Audra is a certified meditation coach, a hypnotherapist, a sound and vibration therapist, and also a Reiki practitioner that focuses on whole health, lifestyle, and consulting. So thank you for being with us today, Audra, and I hope that our attendees enjoy the program. With that being said, I'm going to turn my camera off.
Great. Thank you, Nicole. And I appreciate you all having me here for today's university class. Welcome. I'm going to be sharing a screen here with us to talk about why we're meeting today. Holistic services on demand, right? Let's see here. Okay. So here we are. Holistic Services on Demand. And that's me, Audra Zinn. I'm with ReLife Holistic Services, and we're going to be talking today about what holistic services are, about what our topic today, on demand, means when it comes to holistic services and why we might want that in our lives. And then we're going to learn a little bit of a technique and put that into practice today. And then we'll have that followed by that Q&A. Feel free to comment in the chat box if you have experience with meditation or anything like that, or have interest in holistic service field. There's me. Nicole gave me a great introduction. I am a meditation coach. I do a few other things. I am very passionate in the community about health, and that brings us to today's topic, holistic services, and what are they? You can see there on the presentation, holistic health services are complementary and alternative medicine and therapy services that focus on physical, emotional, spiritual, social, and the mental aspects of whole body, whole self health. There's some examples there. I'm very heavy into the meditation and in the yoga, and really love a lot of these aspects that you see there, the aromatherapy, Reiki, of course, a lot of different sound healing modalities. A lot of these aspects where we're addressing you as this whole person. I guess I wanted to say here really quickly, I started all of this because I needed to address my whole health situation. And all of these modalities I came to find were really helping me. I went through the physical part of things. I have a big, long health journey to share about that, but I kind of fixed myself physically, and I had this disconnect emotionally, and it got pretty dark, and all of these modalities really, really helped me. I'm always open to share more of that story, but we'll stick to the presentation here. So what does ReLife Holistic Services do, and why do we want these services on demand? So ReLife Holistic Services, we are that bridge providing you access. I wholeheartedly believe and believed several years back when all of this was coming together that access is the future. I am originally from Van where we are based as a business. And I've also lived in Lima and love that community as well. What I found growing up here in Van Wert, I had moved to a larger city, Fort Wayne, and then moved from there with my husband for his job to Las Vegas, where everything is available 24/7. Fast forward several years, we come back to my hometown to continue our family and to be with family. And there's not the things available here. There's just not. And I'm a very progressive, forward-thinking person. And I thought, okay, how do we have access to this? And I just started bringing it in on demand for me, right? This has really changed where what we're doing is bringing these classes into the community. And just super quick, I want to toot my own horn. We got a little award through the Van Wert Area Chamber of Commerce for enterprise recognition. We've really been tapping in through this whole situation that we're going through as a planet and trying to still provide people with this access. And what that's turned into, you can see in the slide there, is we're bringing all of these events and sessions wherever you need us. So we have studio space here and in Van Wert that we work within. And then we also have the ability to go online, which is what we've been using a lot of times with employers and their employees to provide access to a lot of classes like that, yoga or chair yoga or the meditation. We can do a lot of that online. I just had a private client yesterday. She's about an hour away and her kids' schoolwork canceled and the roads were bad. So we just did an online session. And so we're able to make a combination of that, but also really cater to your situational needs. That's just really proven here recently to be the best way that we can support the community. So why do we want to do all of this? Why would we do any of the holistic services at all? There's a lot of benefit to that. Just the mental health aspect involved. I had mentioned before my personal journey. I came through some physical health, was eating clean, exercising, and then I had a strong church family and all of that, and I still had poor mental health. And how do I connect with me? And I can speak as a personal testament on how much these types of modalities have benefited me, but you'll see a little list there, improving performance, reducing anxiety and stress. We just did a presentation with the Safety Council over here where we were talking on how mindfulness in the workplace promotes safety, and there's a bunch of stats and things where these large companies are bringing this in for their staff and seeing a lot of benefit in that way. And of course, we're seeing that on an individual level. So today, we will talk real quickly about this little key aspect here. It's one of the things that we discuss when we are doing our online meditation training. And one of the first steps that we learn is this mindfulness cycle. So I thought that would be a really great little thing for us to learn about today. And it's definitely something that you can have as a takeaway to today's meeting together. I know that wellness and mindfulness have been a really big buzzword over the last couple of years, but you know, how is that applicable in our real life situation? So let's take a look about, you know, what that's all about. Just so that we're all on the same page, I pulled up a really quick definition here. I used the old Google search there, and mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. And then that second card there, you're going to see a little bit more in-depth talk on that therapeutic technique, the therapeutic side of things. So mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, body sensations. So being in the now, right? If you ever hear that term. Some keys that I like to focus on when we're talking about, you know, being in the now is our intention. So we're going into any situation, whether it's in our personal life or through work, with an intention. We can wake up in the morning with an intention or a goal, what we want to have happen for the day. We can go to bed at night with an intention. Before we eat our food or make a food choice, we can set that intention all throughout the day on a grand scale or that very micro scale. We can set that intention, okay? Secondly, we have attention. So where our mind goes, our energy is going to flow. And we are paying attention to our inner and outer self, like what's going on with me in my body and in my mind, my heart, my soul, and also what's going on in the environment around me. Because you can be aware and not have to block everything out, okay? So where are you giving your attention? So being just mindful of where your attention is without any judgment at all, okay? Not judging yourself. And then thirdly, we have attitude. So what's your mindset? What is your perspective? That is a big key in this whole mindfulness, right? The mindset. What are we focused on? And how are we focused? That's a whole big topic, but just something to put in there. Our attitude, how are we looking at things? Okay. Key components then. Two big things are beingness and then compassion. And those are very like lovey-dovey, words that aren't really used in the workplace a whole lot. We certainly would like to think that in our personal lives, we're in touch with some of that, right? Being around the people that we love and care about, being around ourselves, hopefully loving and caring about ourselves. Hopefully we are tapped in and wanting to be there for us. And also good when we go out in public, whether it's work or socializing, just understanding about ourselves and what's going on with us, tapping into what's going on right now with some heart. That beingness, just a quickie on there, mental and physical state of awareness and acknowledgement. So you're paying attention, what are the sensations in my body? What's happening? What's going on? Am I thinking about my task at hand, or am I thinking about something that happened in the past, or what I need to do at the grocery store? And then we also have that component of the compassion, and that's really engaging in through our heart space without interpretation or judgment. And the compassion component is something that I personally had to really work on, just being compassionate towards myself without that judgment. And that really, I have found, is a big thing for a lot of people. Okay, we can be here in the now, we can observe what's going on, but can we observe without that judgment happening? And even if we are judging it, just then being aware that we're judging. right? Because we're trying to focus on that mindfulness. It may seem, I've had it described as woo-woo before. If you've ever heard that term, it may seem woo-woo and touchy-feely and like, why is this relevant? But from a workplace standpoint, it's relevant because of how the numbers come up. Of course, you care about your team members. You want everyone to be in a good headspace because they're going to perform better. And when they are, those numbers are happening in the right direction. And there's information, resources out there that back up all of those, all of the benefits. And the other thing that we want to focus on, let's see here, is when we're going through this, how do we feel on that internal level? Let's look at how we're going to practice. How do we practice this mindfulness cycle? So it's 3 very easy steps. Depending on where you are, you want to make yourself comfortable. And there's different levels of this mindfulness. Of course, you want to make sure that you're safe. I'm not a doctor. Consult with your doctor if you have any concerns in that area. What it comes down to, however, is this is your practice. So what you bring to the practice and how you involve yourself is going to be and say everything about your experience. We're going to begin by focusing on our breath. So real quick, as we're beginning, pay attention to what is your breath like right now. Okay. I know for me, I've been giving you all the info. So it's very typical for us to be breathing in this upper chest area and not be taking long, deep, relaxing breaths throughout our day. We're breathing this upper chest level. So just becoming aware of the breath and what we're doing with that. Okay. And as we become aware, we're observing the breath. And being comfortable in your space, you can choose to close your eyes or not. It's going to depend on your own situation where you are, having that situational awareness, focusing on the breath, observing the breath. Eventually, your thoughts are going to begin to wander depending on what's going on around you. It may be a sound that catches your ear and draws your attention away. It may be your own wandering thoughts, but your attention is going to be brought away from the breath and your observation. And then we just repeat the cycle. And it seems very, very simple. And I feel that that is what makes it so very, very effective and also a really quick go-to. All of these classes that we put together, it's about building that toolbox. It's about gleaning from the experience what is going to best serve you and leaving the rest for others, and then building that toolbox. So this particular technique works really well for me, and I'm able to use it as a go-to all the time. So the mindfulness cycle. Let's go ahead and practice it from right where we are right now. So we'll begin by making note of that breath, focusing on your breath. And what is your breath like right now? We're just observing. I usually naturally feel inclined to breathe a little deeper at that point, just settling a little bit more into my space. And I'm just going to start to then observe, okay? I'm observing the breath. I'm observing what the rest of my senses are bringing into me. What do I hear? What do I smell? What's going on with the taste part? So usually it's bringing that tongue down to the bottom of the mouth, relaxing through the jaw space. Acknowledging the physical body. How am I feeling within my physical body? You don't need to do anything about it. Just notice, observe, and acknowledge. Again, using that compassion. Just observing here, just for this moment. And then whenever your attention is drawn away from that observation, just bring it right back around to focusing on the breath. And just continue to stay here for a moment, focused on that breath. You may find yourself wanting to breathe just a little bit deeper. Breathe in a little bit deeper, feeling that expanse in the lungs. Nice exhale, relaxing a little bit more into your space there. This very simple breathing technique is effective because what we're doing is connecting the unconscious part of our mind where we're just going to breathe automatically. It's just going to happen. We don't have to think about it. And we're connecting that conscious awareness part of our mind where we are breathing intentionally. And we're bringing awareness to those and taking just a little bit of situational control over that. And what that's doing is, it's called the vagus nerve hack. Actually, there's a nerve that goes from our brain down into our gut. And in all of these things that we're noticing, we're having a reaction to. In our mind, we're having that biofeedback. Hormones and chemicals are happening, right? When we bring our awareness to that breath and we're deliberate and we're turning our intention and attention inward, it's not only calming in that way, but it's eliciting a physical response. Okay, so it's not just, okay, I feel more relaxed because I took a deep breath. Your body is making different chemicals. You are eliciting an actual physical reaction. There's a lot more that goes into that, but just in that mindfulness cycle, paying attention. So real quickly, again, bringing it back around, right? This is a real life situation. So there's not wonderful meditation music in the background. You know, there might be outside distractions. We're working on the very basic, simplest level here with what's right in front of us, just ourselves. Okay? Bringing awareness to that breath, focusing on the breath. Maybe breathing just a little bit deeper if you feel so compelled. Just observing what's going on with you. How do you feel right now? And just taking that moment for yourself. And then just whenever you're ready, you can start to bring your awareness back. Maybe slowly opening your eyes if your eyes were closed. Slow movements throughout your body just to bring that physical awareness back. Now, obviously that wasn't like a full meditation. That was just a little snippet of the very, very first part when we're teaching a meditation class. I felt this was so important, and I almost went out. I feel like I was going out on a limb because I want to bring in all the fancy, cool things and make it extravagant, because I am so much about creating an experience. And I felt strongly here today that the experience that we were meant to share was on this very basic, simple level. That client that I had online yesterday, I've had here at my private practice before, and she had said to me, is it, I really enjoyed what we did here today online, but is it weird that I felt so much different when I was in your space? And I said, well, of course not, because you're at home. She can hear her kids in the background because they're home from school. She's in her space where she's usually having to do a certain set of tasks, right? I'm not sure how many of you are at work or at home today, but that space that you're within is usually designated for a certain thing. And just to be able to bring the very simplest, the very basic to a right here, right now situation. And what can I do right here, right now? That's on demand, okay? The classes are on demand too. You can call and get us to come there, do them online, come to our studio for your staff or for yourself, however you want to do it, for your friends and family. And you can also do with the very basic, simplest of things on demand for yourself, right here, right now for you. And very simply bringing that awareness in, using that vagus nerve hack of having a little bit of control over what's going on with me right now, directing the intention in and focusing on the breath, observing without judgment. When the thoughts begin to wander, bring it back in, and in just 10 short breaths, you're going to feel a lot better. So very simple here today. I'm not sure if anyone wants to share. I always bring this up. It can be very helpful if anyone was to share just how they felt just during that little simple practice that we had here today. There's my contact info if you feel so inclined to write that down. And I will, I'm not sure if I have to put this here. Do I need to stop that share, Nicole?
Nope, you did. That's fine. Okay. So, Audra, I want to say thank you. We did have a couple of chats from our audience, and they said, thank you, Audra. We need to remind ourselves to take a few minutes every day to focus on our well-being and pause to breathe and relax. And I do believe, especially as this whole society has turned into, sometimes you're remote, sometimes you're not. Whether you're in the office or not, we're all sitting in front of a computer screen. We all have stressors in our life, whether it be work, home, like your friend that was doing things at home and her space is different than being in a controlled environment, which is your space. It is very important that we all are very mindful to ourselves. And I appreciate you being here with us today and teaching us those 3 tips. And hopefully, in the future, I would like to learn more about chair yoga because I'm in this chair constantly. So I know that's part of it. You got to get up and stretch and things of that nature. So thank you for your intellect today. It was very interesting.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We just touched on like the very tip of the iceberg.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
You need to start somewhere, and this was being mindful of yourself and your breath and just focusing on that is a great start. And appreciate again for you teaching us that today. Now I do know that your space is in Van Wert, but you do come to Lima and work with organizations here in town. Where would they be able to find that information if they didn't want to travel to Van Wert and they did want to do a in the flesh event, is what I like to call it?
Okay. So current up-to-date schedule is always going to be first on our Facebook page. So the ReLife Facebook page, that's always updated first. I know we're working on the upcoming month schedule to adding that to our website, but Facebook is probably the very first place that all of the events and where they're going to be held would be.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And thank you to all the attendees that were able to join us today. We're very appreciative of our sponsors, Shakely and also Perry Protech, that helped bring this program to life. And Audra, we look forward to speaking with you again soon. Everybody will receive a recording of this and her contact information if they want to reach out and have any questions and to get in contact with her. So thank you again, once again, Audra, and thank you, Shakely and Perry Protech. And we will see you again next month, where we will be speaking with Bluffton University about emotional intelligence. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, everyone.